In part 1 of this series, you'll learn the basics of piano and music by learning to play one of the most popular songs ever written, Beethoven's Für Elise. In part 2, you'll learn what makes music music by learning two very well-known songs, Pachelbel's Canon and Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata. And in part 3, you'll learn the essentials of how to play today's hits by learning Journey's Don't Stop Believin'. If you've just started out on piano or just want to start from the beginning, continue with this first video. But if you have some experience and want to move a little faster, jump ahead and watch the part 1 summary. From there, you can move right to video 6. Now let's start learning piano. In videos 1 through 5, we'll be using Beethoven's Für Elise as the lesson plan. The first note of Für Elise is the second E above middle C. To play this note, you'll need to know two things. First, piano keys are arranged in groups of 12 notes called octaves. Each group of 12 has 7 white keys, labeled C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and 5 black keys. To help you remember which key's which, notice that C is the white key just to the left of the group of 2 black keys. Second, whether you're playing on a traditional 88-key piano or a keyboard with fewer keys, the note middle C is the first C to the left of the center of the keyboard. Find middle C on your keyboard now. If you need a moment, pause this video. Now that you've found middle C, you can easily find any key on the piano. To find the second E above middle C, start at middle C and walk up the keyboard, key by key, until you get to the second E. Put your right pinky on it, and then play the note. The second note is the second D sharp above middle C. A sharp is the key immediately to the right of the white key of the same letter. Since this is the second D above middle C, this black key, immediately to its right, is the second D sharp above middle C. With your pinky still on the E, put your ring finger on the D sharp. Now play the first 5 notes of the song. Starting on the E, go back and forth 5 times. Pause the video here and try it on your own. Before we keep going with Für Elise, we wanted to introduce fingering instructions. In piano, which finger you use to play a key can make it easier or harder to get to the next note. That's why you'll hear instructors say stuff like, play the E with your number 5 finger. In piano, your fingers are numbered 1 through 5. On both hands, your thumb is number 1 and your pinky's number 5. So playing the E with your number 5 finger means using your pinky. Going forward, we'll be giving fingering instructions by putting the finger number next to each note. Now, using what you learned so far, find the next 4 notes. The first B above middle C, the second D above middle C, the first C above middle C, and the first A above middle C. Then position your fingers on the keys. Once your hand's in place, play the notes. We'll play it slowly for you now. Now put the first 9 notes together. Use the note letters and finger codes to help you get it right. You may find playing along with the music is a good way to learn. We'll play it for you slowly. Before we continue, let's talk about one of the most dreaded topics for aspiring piano players, sheet music. Most people never learn how to read sheet music because it's hard and it takes a long time. Instead, with YouTube videos, they memorize songs. Even though it's hard, you can't completely ignore sheet music. Otherwise, you'll never get beyond just mechanically memorizing songs. In this program, we want you to understand sheet music, even if you never learn to read it fluently. So we're going to introduce it here, but with the note labels we've been using so far. The note labels act like training wheels, and they make reading sheet music a snap. Even if you never take the training wheels off, using sheet music in this video series will help you really learn music. We'll show you the sheet music on the screen throughout these lessons, but if you'd like to download a free copy, go to the website. There's a link to it in the notes below this video. To work with the sheet music, there's one more thing you need to know: how the note on the staff relates to the note letter above it. The answer? The location of the note's head determines its letter. If the head is on this ledger line here, below the main staff, then the note is middle C. As you move up the staff to the next line or space, you move one key to the right on the keyboard. Here, the note is on the E space, so the label says E. Now learn the next 4 notes of Für-Elise using the sheet music and the note labels as a guide. They are middle C, the first E above middle C, the first A above middle C, and the first B above middle C. Position your hand on the keys and then play the notes. Now, try playing the song from the beginning. When you played the first 9 notes, your hand was positioned up here, but to play the next notes, you'll need to move your hand down here. Moving your hand from place to place on the keyboard is probably one of the hardest things about playing piano. There are lots of different techniques for moving your hand, and in these videos, we'll teach you several different ones, as well as when to use each one. Here, you'll want to position your whole hand. Bob will demonstrate it for you. Practice just the transition, and when you have it down, play what you've learned from the beginning. Before we wrap up and move to video 2, you'll practice what you've learned one more time by learning the last 4 notes of Für-Elise's opening section. And then we'll give you a chance to practice it from the beginning. But before we go to the last 4 notes, let's talk about key labels. If you haven't reached the point where you can look at the keyboard and instantly know which key is a B or which is an F sharp, and so on, key labels will make learning a lot easier. On our site, there's a page where you can print out key labels and tape them on. Or there's a link to order reusable key labels. They're made of static cling vinyl that stick on without glue or tape and peel right off. And after a few weeks with key labels, you'll probably find that you can easily play without them. Now learn the last 4 notes in this section. Position your hand and play the notes. Before moving on to video 2, practice the complete opening section of Für-Elise a few times. It helps to have the sheet music in front of you when you practice. If you don't already have it, you can get it on our website. Now we'll play the opening section. First, slowly, so you can practice, and then at full speed.